Copenhagen Wolves, they could finish the game right here.
25 minutes, 3 wins, LCS.
SK solidifies and puts themselves back into the LCS.
Double kill by Nidalee. This could be it, D-Man.
We have ourselves a second new team, ladies and gentlemen. It is KMT.
I just like that there's rivalry, and I like that there's, some trash talk back and forth.
I think we're gonna smash CLG.
I can't wait to crush Kevin, so it should be fun.
And the amateur teams are hungry to get on the big stage.
Oh, we're definitely ready.
Failure is not an option for me.
As a team, probably near our peak, if not at the peak that we've been at so far.
I think we definitely have what it takes to make it into the LCS.
It means like the world for me right now.
We definitely have to respect our opponents. On the day, anything can happen, and it's gonna be pretty scary.
Welcome everybody to the 2014 North American LCS Sprint Promotion Tournament. We're coming to you live in front of this incredible audience at our new LCS studio. I'm Eve, your Shock supporter, and I'm hanging out here with David Freak Turley. It is very good to see you again, sir.
Hey, it's good to be back, Shock. Thanks for coming over all the way from Belgium and Germany and all that. And man, it's good to be back, and I'm really excited to see what happens here today.
Yeah, it's going to be some great games the entire weekend, but for now, we'll be getting our analyzation on in just a couple of minutes. Now let's send it over to Jat and Riff at the caster desk for more on today's games.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Glad they finally let you out of customs. Anyway, I'm Rivington Bism III alongside Joshua Jat Leesman. While we're getting ready to kick off the NALCS promotion tournament today, the EU got their 2014 season underway last week over in Cologne, Germany.
Yeah, and in that event, the Copenhagen Wolves looked really good at the start of it. They knocked MYM out of the LCS. SK Gaming held their LCS spot, but it was close. They were 0-2 down, and they won an astounding 3 games in a row. But the story of that promotion tournament was clearly the 3-0 upset sweep that KMT had over NIP.
And now it's time to see if one of the North American challengers can pull off a KMT-type upset over here. The 3 teams that made it out of the round-robin portion of the tournament were Cognitive Gaming, The Walking Zed, and Determined Gaming, who up until last week were known as To Be Determined.
Yeah, and Riv, they came out of an incredibly competitive group stage. A lot of people actually expected Quantic Gaming or Complexity to be here, but because that group stage had so much talent and the challenger scene in North America is so stacked, now it's these 3 teams that are here, and they all have a real chance.
There has been a lot leading up to this, and the promotion tournament isn't the only league action going on this weekend. The Battle of the Atlantic continues here in Los Angeles, and the format of the tournament breaks down like this. Each LCS squad will play their regional counterpart in the best-of-3 series, with the winning team earning points and a bit of cash money for the region.
Yeah, and the 4th and 2nd place matchups went down actually last weekend over in Europe. Alliance took out Dignitas to earn Europe 1 point, and then Team Solo Mid beat Lemon Dogs to grab North America 2 points.
Right, so heading into this weekend's battles, North America holds 1 point advantage.
And of course, this weekend, the 5th place teams will fight for the 1 point on the line, and the 3rd place teams face off for 2 points. But then, of course, on Sunday, #1 teams from both leagues, Fnatic and Cloud9, play for 3.
It should be decided by then, though.
We'll see. If North America wins the first 2, it's all good.
It's going to be easy. Maybe. And that brings us to today's schedule as the Battle of the Atlantic continues with the fight between the 5th place teams, Counter Logic Gaming versus Team Alternate.
And after that, it's time for the new North American incarnation of Evil Geniuses to take to the stage for the first time when they face off against Determined Gaming.
But before we get into the games, you should head over to lolesports.com and vote on which teams you think will win their way into the LCS.
And once you're at lolesports.com, just click on the schedule at the top of the page, pick the teams you think will come out on top this weekend.
And keep that bandwidth going. Open up a new tab, head over to Twitter, and let us know which of the Battle Atlantic lane matchup are you most excited to see and why. Jat, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, personally, I want to see how Kerp fares in the mid lane against COG's Link, because Kerp hasn't played mid competitively before.
And we get to see him on his trackball. Now, if you want to get your most anticipated matchup right on air, hit us up on Twitter.
Yep, we're still at LOL Esports, and be sure to use the hashtag LCS, because we'll be reading our favorite answers later in today's show.
So now for more on this weekend's action, let's send it over to Shocks and the guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. And right now, we are happy to be joined at the analyst desk by Dignitas's jungler Crumbs. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
Now, of course, we got to talk a little bit about your matchup versus Alliance in the Battle of the Atlantic over in Europe. What have you guys learned from that performance?
Playing against Alliance, we were a relatively new team with 2 new players, essentially, going against them. So it was more of a debut match for us, and we really took it a bit hard up on ourselves to get destroyed by them, basically. So looking in after that match, you really have to do a rework of your team. Think about how you're thinking about the game, and obviously it hasn't been working for a past split, how we've been viewing the game. So we basically sat down, had a long chat about what we want to do, and basically scratch everything and start from new. And that will be how we're going to get back into shape.
Yeah, and actually, I saw you guys posted that you're bringing your analyst full-time into the house with you guys to help you guys work up. And honestly, as Dig, you've been one of my favorite teams to watch in terms of innovation. Just at the end of the regular season, you guys ran Pantheon to beat CLG right at the end there. Like, you guys have a lot of fun things to bring out. I'm excited for what you guys do in 2014.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that we're going to focus on primarily. It's basically how we view the game in terms of innovation, because that's what we did when we were at our best. We just brought out what we thought was good and just completely ignored the meta to a sense. So we're going to try to do that once more, and I think we're going to be able to really hit our stride again.
Nice.
When you talk about that innovation, bringing that, how much do you think you'll be able to do that with Kiwi Kid as support, and of course the totally new factor, Cruiser, in the top lane?
I think a big part of bringing something creative to the game comes in having fun with it as well. Not just, and with the new lineup that we have, we're bonding more as a team of 5. So it's basically 5 friends being able to play the game and just have fun with it. And you can sort of blend in a style of having fun as well as playing what you think is good and giving it your best. And I think that's what we're going to look for in terms of getting a winning team again.
Maybe I can ask you as well, what do you think of your own performance in that first matchup?
Against Alliance, my performance wasn't good at all for my standards, and I think what happened was I overcompensated for what I thought was going to happen, and I didn't get to play what I wanted, how I wanted to play that matchup. And I thought what would happen would be I'd make mistakes here, and then I'd say counter gank at certain places, and I just try to make up too much, try to force too much, because I basically felt panicked in terms of what we had to do to win the game. And when you're panicked, you're not thinking clearly, and you go too fast, you're not patient enough, and I think that really is what lost us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's a point I want to bring up as well in the 2014 season. There's, in the jungle especially, there's a lot more emphasis on farming, sort of the Meteo style, if you will. I know you're a player who, throughout Season 3, loved to take a lot of time to set up ganks, get over walls, do a bunch of crazy stuff just to get that kill to happen. Is your play style changing to getting more camps and being more of a carry throughout the game?
I actually don't think the new jungle is better suited for farm-heavy junglers. I think ganking more is now the way to go, because games tend to snowball, but then you need a very big lead to be able to close them out due to the inhibitor changes and the gold earning, being able to get levels back even if you fall behind in the jungle, because creeps scale with level. So I think that being able to gank more is beneficial for your team, because even if you fail these ganks, you can just go back to farming to catch up and then go right back at it to keep farming, to keep ganking. So I think that's a style that we're going to see, and that's what you see at the junglers that people are playing. You see Vi, you see Elise, Evelyn, all these heavy gank junglers. So I don't think that's more the farming is something that is the meta right now, but I definitely see it as a viable play style that you can pull off, and we definitely most likely see it with Cloud9.
Cool. It'll be very interesting to see that develop. And of course, a jungler matchup is something that's also very important in the upcoming match, CLG versus Alternate, as CLG is playing with their European jungle. How do you think that matchup is going to go?
That matchup is a battle of 2 European junglers. So coming from an NA jungler, it's difficult to judge how these 2 players play. Going into it, European fans will definitely know what to expect from these games. Now, we've had the luxury of scrimming Alternate while we were in Cologne, and they looked like a strong team, but we have not played against CLG. And Dexter has been a jungler that when Lemon Dogs was hitting their stride and they're on top of the LCS, he was doing work all around. He was playing exceptionally well and ganking and making plays for his team everywhere. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him try to pull the same thing off against Alternate and be heavily influential in terms of ganks and map pressure all around. But I also think that Alternate jungler, RNA, is going to be able to do the same thing. You know, he also likes to play these gank-heavy junglers. He plays Lee Sin, he plays Vi, Elise. We have two junglers with basically the same champion pool going at it, and I think both are going to be able to get plenty of ganks off, and it's just going to be who can get objectives after it, because getting ganks usually don't mean anything, so it's basically who's going to be able to put themselves in a position to get more than the gank, because I'm sure both of these junglers are at the caliber to get the gank off, but it's what you can do after it that's going to matter.
I actually think from a team standpoint as well, I think Counterlogic Gaming is in a really good spot because for the first time since May 2012, they've got an actual jungler in the jungle role. And to me, that's actually really important. I mean, you know as a pro jungler yourself, there's a lot of new things you have to learn just for the jungle specifically. It's a very complex role, and so I think just having a player like Dexter there who already intuitively understands the role is going to help CLG tremendously.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch, and for now we've got to take a quick break, but when we return it is time for the fight between the LCS regions as Team Alternate faces off against Counterlogic Gaming in the Battle of the Atlantic. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.